So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Today we'll get back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Friday, January 15th. Hope everyone's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. It is, in fact, Friday, January 15th. We're already on the 15th day of the new year. Crazy. But we are, in fact, already right straight into the new year of 2021. Sports are rolling. A ton of sports news today to get to. 3 big topics we're going to talk about. And then obviously we got the final topics, which is all the college, NBA, all that game picks and good stuff like that. The NHL started back up 2 days ago. Rangers played yesterday. They lost. They got smoked 4-0. We did not play well. After all, it is the first season, or it is the first game of the season. Said that backwards. It is the first game of the season, so I'm not overly angry. Obviously hope they would win, but not overly angry. What I will tell you that I am happy about, though, is the New York Jets hired Robert Saleh as their new head coach for the New York Jets. A great hire. I am so excited about it. Really excited about it. I don't really think. I'm so excited. I mean, there's so many things that went in. There's so many things that went into this coaching search. What coach are you going to get? Are you going to get an offensive? Are you going to get defensive? Are you going to get a guy that can work kind of both sides of the ball, just be a straight up kind of just a football-minded coach? What are you going to get? We went out. We got Robert Saleh. He's energetic. He's smart. He's energetic. He's very, very good with the players, and it's very exciting. As a Jets fan today, as a Yankees fan today, very exciting news. DJ Mayhew got, obviously, re-signed, and that was great news as well. DJ Mayhew re-signed to the New York Yankees. We'll get into that as well. But a lot of great news in New York sports. I'll tell you what, this has probably been the most active past couple of days. You obviously had the Lindor trade. Then you had the Harden trade. You have the start of the hockey season. You obviously have, the whole Harden trade. Like I said, you have the Harden trade, Lindor trade. You have the start of the NHL season. You have LeMahieu re-signing. You have Robert Saleh getting hired as head coach. And now you have game picks. This is probably the most active sports and like the New York sports, especially New York sports. There's a lot that has happened in the New York sports. You got Harden to the Nets. You have DJ Mayhew resigning. You have the Rangers and Islanders starting. You have Francisco Lindor, getting traded to the Mets. You have the Mets still engaging it. This is probably the most activity I have seen since probably before the whole virus hit, I would say. Because before that virus hit, you had the whole NFL offseason, all the moves happening there, and then the draft and that stuff. But I'll tell you what, this has been some of the more active, the past 24 hours has been insane for New York sports. Really, the past week in general. You started the week with the Lindor stuff. Then you went on to, or did you end the week with, I don't know. But anyway, you had Lindor, obviously. He got picked up. Then the Harden trade. Then obviously Robert Saleh. The start of the NHL season, which you got 2 big hockey teams in the Rangers and Islanders right in New York. And then obviously you got, obviously Saleh. You got all the NFL games. A ton of happening in the New York sports. And not even just New York sports in general, especially New York sports, but a ton happening in sports in general. The NFL is a big hiring. A lot of people know this. And this is a big piece taken away from that 49ers coaching staff. Because Robert Saleh is a very good coach. I could not be more excited about this hiring. I'm so excited. It's just so exciting to see him be the new coach of the New York Jets. Looks like this organization's finally headed in the right direction. So with all that being said, these are the topics for today. We got the NFL game picks. We'll get into all that. I decided 3 topics today. So the NFL game picks, I'll probably spend about 15 minutes on. I'm going to talk about the 4 games I figured Since there's only 4 games today, I figured I could probably do this for about 15 to 20 minutes. Go into the Salah hiring for about 15 to 20 minutes. Get the Mayhew stuff for about 15 to 20 minutes. That gets me to about 55 minutes on the podcast. Then do the final stuff, which takes a little bit. So obviously, I decided to do 3 topics. So I'll do the NFL game picks. We'll give you my AFC divisional round game picks. It's kind of weird. I feel like I haven't been talking so much like divisional round stuff yet. Obviously, Monday was the last time I talked about it. Now it's Friday. It's kind of, usually during the NFL season, I'm talking about NFL stuff almost every single day because you got Monday, Thursday, Tuesday talking about the Monday game, Monday talking about all the games, Friday talking about the Thursday game, Thursday previewing the day. Usually all you have, Friday obviously being all the game picks, usually all you have is that Wednesday time window. But now with that, it's just Monday, Friday is football, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, any other sport. So obviously exciting there. But NFL game picks, then we got Robert Saleh to the Jets. We'll read you that, give you why I love the deal. I think this is one of the best moves the Jets have made in a very long time, coaching and player-wise. I love this move. Think it's a great decision. I think he and Joe Douglas combined will lead this team in the right direction. Definitely. From the last 2 seasons, the Jets took a big step backwards. Well, the Jets just took a huge step forwards that I think would make up for that step backwards that they took the past couple seasons. They just made a huge step forward hiring this guy. Now it's time to look into free agency. Now it's time to look towards the draft. Exciting day. As much as I can't believe I'm saying this because the Jets, and usually the Jets are a very bad team, but it is a very exciting time to be a Jets fan right now. I understand it was not the season we wanted. We went 2-14, and we obviously missed out on the first pick, which really stinks. But it is an exciting time to be a Jets fan. We got our head coach. We've got the second most cap space in the NFL. I don't know any Jets fan out there that does not like our hiring. I think everyone loves this hiring. I do. And now we move into free agency. We have all the draft capital stuff. Like, this is an exciting time. Like, this is what we need. Like, the future. Like, you could just see it. Like, it's starting to form. Like, this team that Douglas, when he came here, Douglas had this whole plan of, we're changing the culture. We're going to bring in new guys. We're going to bring the right guys in. It is starting to finally shape out and form into his entire goal. And that is so exciting to me as a fan, and I'm sure to many other Jets fans out there. So Robert Saleh to the Jets, DJ Mayhew to the Yankees, or resigning with the Yankees. He's already with them, but resigns with the Yankees. 6-year deal, $90 million, worth every penny. Totally agree with the move. I'll tell you why. I love the decision. Still don't like Cashman, but I got to give credit where credit's due. Cashman got this deal done, and I like that. Still don't like him. Still don't like him. Still don't like him. Do not think that I like Cashman now because he re-signed him. I still do not like Cashman. It's just the fact that we got LeMahieu. I am happy about it. Time for the New York Yankees to start looking at some pitching because that's our next big thing. Then we got college basketball, NBA, Nets, Knicks, NHL, Rangers, Islanders, and fantasy to finish out the day. Pretty much your New York sports report because I'll do Nets, Knicks, NHL. James Harden's got his press conference today. That's another thing, too. He's got a press conference. And then I'm sure Salah will probably have his press conference. I wouldn't be surprised by Monday. Usually coming out of the weekend, they'll probably have it on Monday. So it's going to be an exciting time for sports, and we'll be covering all here on the podcast. So with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get into it. So week 2 of the NFL playoffs, I guess you could say, divisional round of the NFL playoffs, whatever you want to call it. Most people say divisional round. So it is, in fact, the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. This week we got 4 games. To both the winners of those 2 games. The 2 winners go against each other. So the winner of the Bills-Ravens game and the Chiefs-Browns will go against each other to battle for the AFC Championship. The winner of the Rams-Packers and Saints-Bucks will battle for the NFC Championship. And obviously, we all know the winner of that will go to the Super Bowl, and the winner of that will hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy after the game. Obviously, you don't have to go through that, but I thought it would be pretty cool. So, obviously, you got all that good stuff. So, we're in a divisional round. We're moving. We're cruising right now. We got 2 games on tomorrow. Packers, Rams, Ravens, Bills. And then 2 games on Sunday. Chiefs, Browns, and Saints, Buccaneers. Both 1 game's on it in the afternoon, 1 game's on at night. Same thing with Sunday as well. So the NFL did a good job last week, I thought, with the whole scheduling thing. And I really liked what the NFL did last week, and I'll get to my record in just a second. But I liked what the NFL did last week. I don't know if you realize, but the NFL last week, what they did was they made sure, like, when one game was over, the next game was starting, if you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying? Like, There was a game at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then right after that, there was another game. Like, the NFL did a good job of that, and the NFL is doing another good job of this as well. You got the Packers-Rams, and then right after that will be the Bills-Ravens. And the Packers-Rams might not even be fully over when the Bills-Ravens start. But then you got the Bills-Ravens. And then same thing on Sunday. You got the Chiefs-Browns, and then right after that, you got the Saints-Buccaneers. Like, they did an excellent job of getting these games to be right when one's over. You got another one. You don't have to wait. It's not like, oh, you got a game here, then we got a game a little later. Oh, then tomorrow you got a game, then another later game, or a game, here, then a game, the next day. Like, the NFL did a really good job, and they've done this all the years. But I know some years it's been, you would have maybe a 1 o'clock game or a 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game, and you would have a late game, and you'd be waiting all day. You'd be okay, I just got done with this game, now we got to wait all day. Now, obviously, if you're the fan of the Saints or Buccaneers, you got to wait all the way until Sunday to watch your team. You're the final divisional round game. But still, I thought the NFL did an excellent job last week of spacing out the games. And actually, I know it's a lot of math goes into it, but actually the games finished on time. And a lot of the games finished on time. Some games there was no games that went into overtime. All the games pretty much finished relatively on time. There was none of those 4.5 hour games that took forever. So the NFL did a good job of that. But this week we got a lot of good matchups as we get closer to the Super Bowl. Like I already named them, you got the Packers, Rams, Bills, Ravens. Then that's the Saturday stuff. Then the Sunday stuff is the Chiefs, Browns, and the Saints, Buccaneers. Those are the 4 games on this weekend. Quickly before I get into this game, because like I said, I got all the other topics to talk about. Before I get into this game and get into this topic here, we got this is my game pick record. So I come into this game 185-88 overall. If I go 4-0 this week, I will be 185-8, and I will be officially 101 games above 500. If I go 3-1, I will still be 99 games above. Right now, I'm 97 games above 500. So if I win 4 games this week, there's a good possibility that I come out of this week. I mean, I would have to go 4-0, but there's a chance I come out of this week with already 190 wins. Now, 200, I think, is out of the equation. Let me think. Yeah, it's probably out because you got 4 games this week. That would put me to 190. Next week you have 2 games. Yeah, the best I could do is 193 wins this season. That's if I get all the remaining picks right. That's if I get all these round picks correct and all of next round's picks correct. So the best I could do is 193-88. The worst I could do is obviously 185 and 96. The worst I could do is 185 and 96. That would mean I would get all my picks wrong for the remaining season. But the best I could do is 193-88. So I'm probably going to go ahead and say I'd probably get about 5 more wins this season. I would probably venture to say I'd probably get maybe 3 this week, and maybe 1, and maybe 1 next week, and then the Super Bowl pick correct or something like that. I think I do crack 190, and probably not 193 though. But last week I went 4-2, so a good week. I went 4-2, did pretty well. It's such a short week, so you could technically go 5-1, but at the end of the day, it's only 6 games. So same thing with this week. You could very well go 2-2, and it might look bad, but after all, it's only 2 games. So even 3-1, it doesn't look that great, but after all, it's only 4 games. So as we get into some of these games, next week I could very go 1-1, and that's not that. I mean, next week if I get 1 pick wrong, it's automatically 500. So the best I can do is 500. So that's the thing. As these games start to narrow out, there's more of a chance of me having a 500 record. But hopefully I get another winning week. I went 4-2 last week. Divisional round, obviously haven't won anything yet. I'm 0-0. And I enter the week 185-88. So that's how I enter this week. But with all that being said, let's get into the 4 games that are on tap for this weekend. So let's start off with the first game. I'll go from the first game till the last game. That's just the order of it's on and stuff like that. So here we go. So the first game of the NFL Divisional Round weekend. Here we go. We got the Rams and the Packers. Rams regular season was 10-6. Packers regular season was 13-3. Obviously both their postseason records. Oh well, the Packers haven't played yet, so they haven't won a postseason game yet. But the Rams obviously knocked off the Seahawks last week with a big upset. The Packers come into this game. They are at 6.5 point favorites. The over/under is set at 45.5 for this game. This game is on tomorrow at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. You got Fox, NBC, CBS, and Fox again. But yeah, so this game starts off the weekend, and this game's on Fox. You got two good teams. This game's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I know it might sound like it's one of these games where, you got the Packers and the Rams. You probably think, oh, it's a blowout. Jared Goff, hasn't been on his best game this season, stuff like that. You might automatically think it's a blowout. But once again, we did all think that last week when the Rams played the Seahawks. We all thought, oh, the Seahawks would win. The Seahawks are going to win this game. No Jared Goff, and when Wolford came out of the game with the neck injury, Jared Goff was still playing with a not even, with a thumb that just had surgery a week ago. You're like, oh, this guy's not going to be able to play good. And guess what? We were all wrong. The Seattle Seahawks got knocked off by the Los Angeles Rams. Now, what I will tell you is this matchup is so even, if you follow what I'm saying. The Packers offense, you could probably say, I've said it so many times in this podcast. I had Aaron Rodgers on my fantasy team, Devontae Adams. I mean, I've said it so many times on the podcast. You could probably say that the Packers have maybe only behind the Chiefs, probably in front of the Bills, but probably a top 3 offense in the NFL. And I've also said that the Rams, the stats show it, and in my opinion, the Rams have the best defense. So this matchup is so even. You have one of the best offenses, you have probably one of the best offenses versus one of the best defenses, and on the other side of the ball, you got the Rams offense who isn't amazing, but you're also going against the Packers defense who also isn't amazing either. So this matchup is, as much as it might sound like a completely uneven matchup, Rams, Packers are going to blow this team out. Realistically, it's pretty even because the Packers offense isn't the Packers defense, isn't overpowering. Neither is the Rams offense. But the Packers offense is overpowering, but so is the Rams defense. So if you look at this, it's a very even matchup. Now, here's the problem with the Rams. Their quarterback situation. I still don't know if Jared Goff is 100%, 110% ready to go out there and throw the ball 35, 40 times and win a game. Now, 35, 40 times. I don't know if he can do that. Now, he didn't do it last week. He threw the ball 19 times last week and for 155 yards. So he threw the ball 19 times last week. Is he ready to throw the ball 100 or not 100? Is he ready to throw the ball possibly 30 to 35 times? You might think 19 to 30 is not that big of a leap. That's 11 more passes. That's a big, big leap. That is a big leap. You might not think it is, but throwing 11 more passes is a big leap, especially for a guy who just had thumb surgery. Now it's coming up 2 weeks ago, but last week it was only a week ago. This week it's 2 weeks ago he had thumb surgery. You're telling me that thumb cannot be 100%. That thing's probably 70%. And that's the one problem, is if you have to get to your run game where this Packers defense has their moments with their run game, that's one problem. Is if this Packers defense starts to really stop your run game. I know that sounds weird. I said start and stop in the same sentence. But if this defense starts to really jump on your game plan and stop that run game, that's a problem for the Los Angeles Rams. Because I don't know if you could fully trust. This is nothing against Jared Goff. It's just the fact that he's got a bad thumb injury. I don't know if you could fully trust the guy that's going to have a taped up thumb, tough to grip the ball on his throwing hand, expecting to throw the ball 35 times, which is what the Packers might do. Now, a negative for the Packers is the fact that Aaron Donald will be playing. That's a negative. Okay, Aaron Donald obviously came out last week with the rib injury, and obviously not many people knew what was going to happen. I assumed from the start. To be honest, I watched the game, but I didn't really even, I knew they said that he was going to be questionable return. I didn't even really bring much thought into it that he wasn't going to be able to play the next week. I thought, it would be, he got injured too, I think, pretty late in the game. I thought it was kind of just, one of those things where, maybe you got hit somewhere, then the wind got knocked out of you. Saying that he wasn't even going to play personally was not even on my radar screen. So that's a negative for the Packers. But I will tell you this. I think this is going to be a close game. I don't think the Rams will win. I think the Packers are going to win this game. One reason simply is I just don't know if you could trust Jared Goff. And I know a lot of people might think this reason too. I don't know if this is so much a reason, but the Rams are coming off a big win, a big upset. A lot of times, sometimes teams have that hangover week where the next week they're so paid attention to getting the national audience ready, everyone getting pumped up and stuff, and all of a sudden the next week you come out flat. So I could see that, but I don't know if that's so much the case because Sean McVay's been in many of these moments. I mean, this is a Rams team that has been underdogs many times, and they've been able to come through and come back the next week and play well. But I do give the Packers a win here. I don't think they cover. I think it's a close game. I think it's a very close game. I think it's going to be 24-21. Packers win. Late field goal wins the game for the Green Bay Packers. I don't think they cover. I don't think they cover the 6.5. 24-21. Which would put me at 45, which would put me at the under on the over-under 45.5. And I think the Packers win, but do not cover. Packers win. Next up, we got the Ravens and the Bills. Both these teams played wildcard games, so they're both 1-0 in the playoffs. But the regular season records, the Ravens finished 11-5. Bills were 13-3. The Bills come in this game 2.5-point favorites. The over/under is set at 49.5. This game's on tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NBC. This will be the second and final game on the Saturday slate. What I would like to say about the Bills is their run defense is going to be a concern. If I was a Bills fan today and a Bills fan tomorrow and a Bills fan going to that game, the Bills don't got much to worry about. I mean, they got Jackson, but I'm talking about on their side of the ball. I mean, the Bills, like, they don't have many injuries. You know, they don't have, I mean, Josh Allen's playing perfectly fine. Their running back core, actually, Zach Moss had a pretty good game last week. Diggs did perfectly fine in the playoffs. Some people were wondering if, teams were going to go, harder on Diggs, double team him. That didn't seem the case. The Bills secondary did pretty good, I would say. I mean, they didn't. Phillip Rivers didn't go off. I mean, he didn't have an amazing game. I mean, the Bills secondary had one of those games. I mean, it wasn't an amazing 3-4 interception game, but it was. They went out there, did their job, they got the job done, and they won the game. The one thing with the Buffalo Bills, and this had something to do with my game pick. The problem is with the Buffalo Bills is their run defense. And the one strength of the Baltimore Ravens is their run offense. So the favorable matchup would to go to the Ravens. But here's my problem with the Ravens. I don't think you can trust Lamar Jackson throwing the ball in this secondary. That might sound crazy. Call me crazy. Call me outrageous. What I've seen out of this guy, I don't know if he can go. Last week, he played pretty well. Guess what? He's going up against secondary. That Titans secondary is not that good. Look at the numbers. If you're going fantasy-wise, they give up the most points to receivers in all of fantasy. That Titans secondary is not good. So sitting here and telling me he went up against a good Titans team, the weakness of that Titans team was that defense. The strength of this Bills team on defense is the secondary. This is the big thing. If the Bills stop Lamar Jackson from running tomorrow, game over. Bills win. They're going to the AFC Championship game and playing either Chiefs or the Browns. If the Bills can't stop the run game and Jackson goes off like he did against the Titans, well, Ravens, they're going to have to go play in Kansas City or Cleveland. Well, no. The Ravens, I think, the Ravens, if the Ravens win and the Cleveland wins, the Ravens would be home, I think. But either way, back to my point. Actually, I don't know. No, yeah, because the Ravens beat the Browns, I think, twice. So the tiebreaker goes to the Ravens, I think. Yeah, so the Ravens had a higher seed. So, yeah, but either way, I don't want to get into the next game. But I want to say this, though. If the Bills stop Lamar Jackson, Bills, your win. You're going to the AFC Championship game, one game away from the Super Bowl. If the Bills don't stop Lamar Jackson, congrats, Ravens, a team who was doubted. You're going to the AFC Championship game. That's going to be the story of this game. I don't even have to say much else. If I was the Bills, Josh Allen's not going to be the problem. If anything on offense, is going to be the run game. The run game has not been the problem. The offense has not been the Bills' weakness this season. It's been the run defense that has been the problem. And I'll tell you what, I think Leslie Frazier is his name. If I'm the Bills' defensive coordinator, dial up some blitzes. Don't be afraid to blitz. Safety blitz. Bring in Hyde. Bring in Poyer. Bring guys like that in. Don't be afraid to dial up some blitzes. You get some blitzes going there. You get some serious, pressure on Jackson. He's not going to be able to escape the pocket. Dial some of those things up. That's what you got to do if the Bills win. And the Ravens, you got to counter that, right? Ravens got to find a way to. I'm just concerned I'm just concerned about Jackson's arm. I don't know if he can't win a game, I don't think, with his arm. And if he's being stopped, then he obviously can't win a game with his legs. I mean, he can't win a game with his legs. We saw it last week. He literally put the game on ice with his legs with that 20-yard run. What the Bills can't have is that 85-yard touchdown run we saw last week. That's what the Bills can't have. I do give the Bills the win here, strictly because the only reason I think this is because I think the Ravens are a little overhyped, and also I think the Bills' offense is probably second best in the league, or third best, whatever. Packers, Chiefs, Bills, they're all near there. So I think the Bills' offense is very good, and I think if Josh Allen and Diggs are on like they were last week, they're going to win the game. So I give the Bills the win. I think the Bills cover. I think they win 31-24. I think they put up a decent amount of points. I'm not too scared of the Ravens' defense. But I do give the Bills the win. I think they cover as well. I think they win by a touchdown, maybe something late or something like that. It's just, and I'll make this over under Jackson 3 touchdowns or something rushing. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the over there. But I do give the Bills the win here. I do give the Bills the win, 31-24. And that would put me at, let's see here, 31-24. I think that's 55. So I take the over on the over-under of 49.5, and I have the Bills covering the 2.5. So I have the Packers and Bills winning the Saturday game. So both of them I have advancing to the championship, AFC Championship and NFC Championship games. Next up, we got the Sunday games, which are the Chiefs, Browns, Saints, Buccaneers. Chiefs coming in this game 14-2. Browns coming in this game 11-5. Chiefs are 10-point favorites. The over-under is set at 57 for this game. This game's on at Sunday, 3:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CBS. I don't think I have to go too much into description for this game, to be honest with you. I mean, I get it. Upsets are cool and all, and upsets are very likely. And I get it. The Browns played great last week. They beat a good defense, and I can't take that. The Steelers, I've always said all season long, it's their offense that's the problem. Their defense isn't the problem. It's their offense. Last week it was their defense, but last week it also could have been the fact that the Browns just straight up. I've said this from the start, which is why I'm not going to pick against them. I said this from the start of the season. I think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl again. I said this from the start of the season. Now, as the season went along, I had the Chiefs Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Then I kind of switched around and said, okay, Chiefs Packers. And I'm kind of at Chiefs Packers. So I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs. So I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Chiefs will win this game. Now, do I think the Browns are going to keep it interesting? Maybe. The Browns keep it interesting if they can find a way to do what some of these other teams did with Mahomes. Mahomes has been, we could kind of say the past couple weeks of the season, obviously he didn't play wild card, they had the first round bye. We could say Mahomes wasn't on his A game the past couple weeks of the season. A lot of those teams were dialing up blitzes, playing some deep zones, getting Tyreek Hill, kind of even taking Tyreek Hill out of the game plan. Because you saw when Mahomes was struggling, Tyreek Hill was struggling. So if you could find a way to remove Tyreek Hill, you'll be good. Now that's the problem. Removing Tyreek Hill is the hard part. You do get your coach back. But I think the Chiefs win this game. And I don't have much to say because I just think the Chiefs will win. I think it's right there. I think it's just right there. I'm pretty confident about this pick. I get it. It's the 10-point favorites. I get it. It's a lot. I know a lot of Browns fans are confident that they're going to win, but I just give the Chiefs the win. I think the Chiefs are the best. They've got the best quarterback. They've got the best overall team. Give the Chiefs the win. I think they win 35-24. I think they just barely cover 35-24. I think they barely cover. Let's see. That would put me at 59, so I take the over on the over-under 57. I think the Chiefs cover the 10 points, and they win. The final game of the divisional round playoffs are the Saints-Buccaneers. Saints versus the Buccaneers. Saints coming in this game 12-4 in the regular season, obviously 1-0, or they didn't play yet. Buccaneers came in this game 11-5 in the regular season. They obviously are 1-0. They beat the Redskins last week. The Saints are 3-point favorites. The over/under is set at 51.5 for this game. This game's on Sunday, 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. So this is the second game that's on Fox for the weekend. This game's going to be a good one. This game's definitely going to be a good one. We've obviously seen twice this season. I've said this all along. I said it earlier on in the week. It's hard enough to beat a team once. It's harder to beat a team twice. And it's even harder to beat a team 3 times. And the Saints right now are going for a 3-win season against the Buccaneers. They beat them twice in the regular season, week 1, and then again on Sunday Night Football. And then now they meet them again in the NFL divisional round. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. I think the Saints win this game, and I think they win this game easily. I still don't believe it. What is it going to take for me to start to believe in the Bucs? Probably make it to the Super Bowl, because I still don't believe this team. And I don't want to be mean to Washington and stuff, and I get it, a win is a win. You're going up against another NFL opponent with NFL skill players. But they did play Washington. Washington obviously was the clear underdog in that game. They were supposed to win that game. I have not seen the Buccaneers get that big pivotal win against that team. Brady has stunk in his own division against the Saints. Why all of a sudden now, playoff Brady? No. Saints are going to win this game. I still don't believe in this Buccaneers team. I still don't. You might call me crazy. You might be sitting there watching this video right now saying, how in the world? This team's in the divisional round. I still don't. You want me to know why? This team has beat a whole lot of easy opponents, and I get a win as a win. And a lot of these times, some of these wins were just squeaky wins, the ones that they just squeaked out. And I still don't believe in this team. I still don't think Brady's Brady, to be honest. I give the Saints the win here. Breeze, Kamara, Buccaneers have not stopped them twice this season. Why all of a sudden would they be able to stop them now? Saints win big. 31-17, Saints win. Let's see here. 31 plus 17, that would put me at 48. So I take the under on the over-under of 51.5. I think the Saints cover the 3 points. I think the Saints win. So my picks are the Packers winning, Bills winning, Chiefs winning, and Saints winning. Those are my game picks. Coming up next, we got the Jets head coach hire. Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh is the new head coach of the New York Jets. I am so excited to talk about this and so excited about this hire. Coming up next. Alrighty, so here we go. This is very, very exciting news for the New York Jets and obviously Robert Saleh as well. The whole goal, a lot of these coaches, that's their whole goal. When they enter the league, it's to become a head coach for any football team. I mean, whether that's the Jets, whether it's another team, whether it's, whatever case may be. A lot of guys, when you enter the league, that's your entire goal is to be a head coach for a football team, whatever football team that is. That's your goal. So Robert Saleh, Jets agreed to reported 5-year contract as new head coach, and this is probably as excited I have been as a Jets fan in a very long time. I can't even tell you last time I was this excited as a Jets fan. It might have even been, I don't even know if I was this excited for week 1 of this new season. This is such exciting news for the New York Jets. This is just amazing. We're getting just an amazing football guy, an amazing smart coach, a smart guy with a high football IQ. We're getting everything an NFL coach is supposed to have, this guy has. And he was dominant there in San Francisco. And I read an article the other day on him. The 49ers, with all those injuries, they got pounded with all those injuries. Everything the Niners went through this season, from the injuries to the whole COVID situation, to then having to move stadiums. And Robert Saleh still had this team. And he was not the head coach. He was the defensive coordinator. A lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan as well. But defense side of the ball, Robert Saleh, through all that stuff, through all the switching, changing, mashing, all the different moves and stuff they had to make, Robert Saleh still had that team as a top 5 defense in the NFL. They were the 5th best defense in the NFL. And that, to me, is the decider that through adversity, through things, when things aren't going right, that is a true head coach trait right there. When things aren't going right and you could still get your guys to go out there and give 110%, not 110%, and go out there and dominate on the field like the Niners defense still did this season with an offense that was really sluggish. So they're out there on a lot. That just goes to show you how good of a head coach he is. And boy, am I excited to finally see the Jets with when you go on Google and you Google the Jets, it says head coach, it says Robert Saleh. And that is just amazing to look at. All these years we had Todd Bowles, Adam Gase, and we finally get the right coach. We finally get the guy the fan base has been wanting. The Jets finally do what the fan base wants. Years and years and years and years of suffering. Of them hiring coaches that the fan base hates. Suffering. We finally get the coach that we want. And the future is finally starting to shape up and looking like a and is finally starting to shape up and is finally starting to look like this team could actually be headed in the right direction. And that is so exciting as a New York Jets fan. You don't realize the years of suffering, the years of losing after losing after losing, the years of just so much terrible football to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel and hire Robert Saleh, have the second most cap space, have all these draft picks that we have, is finally so amazing as a fan and for all the New York Jets fans out there. And to all the New York Jets fans out there, this is just the start of, I think, something special. Because I think Robert Saleh is going to do a ton here. Mark my word, I think he's going to get this team to the playoffs. Is that this season? I don't know. We've also got a ton of draft picks next season. I would tell you what. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets make the playoffs next season. Not this upcoming season, I don't know. New head coach, it might be, you might go, I wouldn't be surprised to see, I don't want to say anything yet because even this season possibly, maybe, because you got to look at it. Whoever we get in free agency, I don't want to really make predictions because I want to know what happens with this roster and stuff. But I'll tell you what, with this, if we build this roster the right way, if we do well in the draft, which I said this on the podcast many times. Joe Douglas drafts good. He had a very good draft class this year. That I was not concerned about. I was just concerned about the coaching search. Because the amount of times the Jets have had opportunities to get very good coaches, they miss out on them. And this was one of the coaches I wanted. And we obviously ended up getting him. I thought for sure when he left that building the other day, I thought for sure we were not going to get him. And that was frustrating for me. But to obviously get him and have him as a head coach is just amazing. And like I said, when you Google the Jets or Google Robert Saleh and it says he's the New York Jets coach, it's just amazing to see. And I'm super excited. The guy is a smart coach. He's gonna have discipline in the locker room. He's very energetic. That's when you need a coach. The Jets have not had a coach that's energetic since really Rex Ryan was with this team. And it's actually the truth. We have not had an energetic coach that fights for his players, that goes out there and will go out there and will stand up for his players, will go out there and, you've seen him on the sideline, will go out there and, be all, he's very energetic. When the players do something good, he's always with them. He's always, nice job, this and that. We did not see that with Gaze. We did not see that with Bowles. We finally get a coach that's energetic and looks like he actually loves the sport. Because the Jets for years have been hiring these coaches that look like they don't even want to be there. When we finally get a guy that you could truly tell that Robert Saleh loves the game of football and loves what he's doing. And that is ultimately coaching. He loves that. You could tell he loves it. You could tell it. The Jets got coaches that I'm not sure if they love their job. We finally get a coach now that loves what he's doing. And he's energetic. He loves the game of football. And most of all, this is what I'm most looking forward to, he's a smart coach. Talk about all the energetic stuff. If he doesn't know football, he's not going to be good. But he knows football. He's energetic, good football, very smart, amazing coach. And I'll tell you what, with this guy as our head coach, I have very high expectations for this team. I really do. I have very high expectations for him. His 5-year contract, I'm expecting playoffs within his 5-year contract, without a doubt. And whoever we get in free agency, we've got 2 first-round picks this year and next year. We've got a ton of second-round picks, which second-round picks, a lot of people don't, a lot of people are like, oh, you got them in the second round. Well, there's a lot of good players that have come out of the second round. Look at Denzel Mims. He's one of our best receivers. We got him in the second round. Second round's a good round. So the New York Jets are looking like they're starting to build this thing right. The Jets, every time I feel like when they build something, it's kind of weird. Whenever the Jets do something, it just doesn't seem, or whenever, even any team out there. But the Jets are finally building this right. It's almost like, they got the base layer down now. That's the thing. That's what Douglas came here. He came here to change the culture. He came here to change this team. He came here to bring winning ways back to the New York Jets because he realizes the fans need more. I mean, this is a fan base that there are so many people out there, including myself, that have stuck through all the years of losing. And this team and this franchise seems like they don't do anything about it. We are finally doing things in the right way. So, it's obviously it's really good. It's obviously it's amazing. This is really amazing for the New York Jets. And it's just amazing. We're finally starting to build. It's almost like a sandcastle. You got to start off with the base, then you go higher. You don't start to build a sandcastle from the top bottom. You got to start off with the base. Make a good base because the base will keep the sandcastle together. If you make the sandcastle and you start with the top, it's just going to all fall down. You got to make the base. That's what the Jets are doing right now. We've got the base down, and it's a very solid base too. Now we start to build a little bit more. Keep building, a little bit more building. Then all of a sudden, ultimately, you get to the top, you got a good roster of guys. So Robert Saleh, Jets agree to report a 5-year contract as new head coach. That's his new head coach. That's another thing too. I like the contract, 5 years. You give him a lot of time because it's going to be, we gotta add some guys. So you're giving him some time here to really, do well here. But yeah, the New York Jets announced that they agreed to a deal with Robert Saleh to make him their new head coach. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that it's a 5-year deal and that San Francisco 49ers passing game coordinator Mike LaFleur will be Saleh's offensive coordinator, which I'm also very happy about. Mike LaFleur, I did some research on him, because I knew Matt LaFleur. He's the young brother of Matt LaFleur. You probably know Matt LaFleur. He's the Packers head coach. Obviously, he's done a very good job over there. Packers, I was just talking about. Mike LaFleur is also, I did some research. He really seems like a really good OC and really seems like a guy that's going to bring in here and really going to completely change this offensive game plan, which is what I want. I hated Gaze's game plan, so hopefully Mike LaFleur comes in here and makes a really good push. And also, obviously, 49ers passing game coordinator was with Saleh, so it makes sense that they're going to come over here together. New Jets head coach Robert Saleh is expected to take 49ers, all that good stuff. That was what Adam Schefter wrote. Saleh spent the last 4 years as San Francisco's defensive coordinator prior to what he was the Jacksonville Jaguars linebackers coach from 2014 to 2016. The 49ers' defensive numbers illustrate why Saleh's stock has risen to the point he's getting the opportunity to coach his own team. Upon joining Kyle Shanahan's staff in 2017, Saleh inherited a defense that allowed both the most yards, 406.4, and most points, 30 per game. San Francisco also ranked 28th in defensive efficiency per Football Outsiders. Fast forward to 2019, and the Niners earned the NFC's top seed thanks in no small part to an elite defense that finished second in yards allowed, 281.8, and 8th in points allowed, 19 before. And Football Outsiders ranked them the second in defensive efficiency. You saw the stats before Saleh was there. Saleh goes there. And that also goes to show you that it's Bosa and all them are good, but that also goes to show you it's a big part that Saleh had a big part of that defense. A lot of people, like Mahomes, a lot of people think, Mahomes is the reason that offense is so good. For this defense, the big reason is Saleh. You saw when he got there, that defense, you saw it, allowed 8th in league to either top 10 in leads and points per game, which is very good. They only allowed 19 points per game. Before Saleh was there, 30 a game. They only now allow 19 a game, which is very good. So Saleh came there, really transformed that defense into a true star-studded defense. Shanahan likely felt some level of vindication since Saleh wasn't on firm footing as the 2019 campaign drew to a close. I'm with him every day, Shanahan said in December 2019 per The Athletic's Mike Barrows, so I know how good of a coach he is. I know he is systematically. I know he is dealing with the players. I know what he can handle, just personality and how smart he is. I also know that he took over as a 32nd ranked defense. It is the truth. He took that defense that was 32nd in the league and transformed it into one of the best defenses in the league. As Saleh became a candidate for Cleveland Browns prior to this past season, Richard Sherman sang his praises following San Francisco's divisional round win over the Minnesota Vikings. Sherman actually said something yesterday that we're getting a really good coach and a really good leader. He's going to change the culture. So that's one thing you always love to see. is players talking about, obviously Sherman being a guy over there in San Francisco, players talking about their coach is very, very good. You don't see that. It's a good coach when former players are talking highly about him. However, some might contend that 49ers' improvement on defense was more the result of personnel and less to do with Saleh, at a point of which, for the win, Steven Ruiz alluded. That's just something some people say, but it's facts show. I'm not saying it's because the Jets head coach now. It's the truth. It was mostly Saleh. Their defense coordinator stunk. I don't know who it was. He stunk. Had a 32nd ranked defensive league. Saleh goes there, takes a 32nd ranked defense in the league, and turns it into one of the best. That's very good. Building a dominant defense is certainly much easier when you have Nick Bosa, D Ford, and Sherman, all of whom arrived after Saleh's hiring. Fred Warner and D Greenlaw were draft picks in 2018, 2019, respectively. That's to say nothing of the contributions from DeForest Buckner, Ark Armstead, Jaquiz Tart, and Jeremy Ward, of all whom were high draft picks before Saleh's arrival. Ruiz drew a point. That's the thing, though. There was a lot of talent on that defense. But before Saleh was there, they drafted all those guys. Saleh developed those guys into really good players and developed that defense into a really good defense. Ruiz drew a parallel to Gus Bradley, Jaguars head coach in 2013. Seahawks defense coordinator Bradley. Blah, 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 blah. This is just some other stuff. I don't know why they're getting into this other dude with the Seahawks, because that has nothing to do really with Saleh there. 2020 was a firm rebuttal to those all skeptical of Saleh. Buckner was traded to the Indianapolis Colts, while Sherman and Bosa played in 7 combined games. The unit went backwards slightly in 2020, but that was largely down to getting hammered by injuries. That was San Francisco still surrendered the 5th fewest yards, 314.4, in a testament to Saleh's coaching. Like I said, even with all these injuries, he still had that defense as one of the best in the league. That just goes to show you that how good of a coach he is. As a first-time head coach, the structure of his coaching staff will be critical to Saleh's success early on. He's bound to have some growing pains, which he can mask with the right set of coordinators and position coaches around him. The Jets are in a position where they either need to make a firm commitment to Sam Darnold for 2021 or strongly consider using a number 2 overall pick on a quarterback to start over. That led to many to wonder whether New York would look toward an offensive-minded former head coach or top assistant as it replaced Adam Gase. Granted, the team already went in that direction with Gase, and results were disastrous. The Jets were last in yards each of the past 2 seasons. In that respect, Saleh's predecessor left plenty of room for improvement. So like I said, they said that too. Saleh, I think, is going to completely change his culture, going to change his team, and we're going to be back to playing good football. And that's what I want out of the New York Jets. And Robert Saleh has everything a head coach needs. He's smart. He's energetic. He works with players. He's a good worker. He really good with players. Former players were talking highly of him. That right there, Sherman, especially Sherman, because Sherman's had his moments. Sherman's definitely one of those guys out there that he could definitely be critical of a lot of people. And for him to go out there and say that about Saleh was really good. And this is another thing as well. There's so many Jets players that have said how much they're happy about this move already. Quinn Williams, Becton has said it. That just goes to show you how much they're ready for this. And I feel like in a way that could make this spot, I feel like in a way going to free agency with all his cap space, I feel like in a way this is good for the Jets. Players obviously want to play for him, so this could make this place maybe a more better free agency destination. Is because a lot of these players are going to want to play for a guy like Saleh. Like Saleh, he comes in here just by him getting hired can completely change. He hasn't even gotten introduced yet as the Jets head coach yet. He's still got to do his press conference, obviously. Before that, it's completely changed. Like I feel like the Jets went from all the way down here to like here just by him getting hired. And I feel like we're only going to get higher from this. Great hire for the New York Jets. Let's see. Alrighty. So that's what I got there. For the Jets, I'm trying to see if I could find what the Jets wrote about that. Okay, so this news just came out. Spoke to the Jets. They look for a solid introduction sometime next week, which is, I think, I said probably Monday earliest. Definitely not today. He just got hired yesterday, so not today. Over the weekend, usually no, because that's usually the reporters and stuff. It's usually your time off. They wouldn't do a introduction over the weekend. Monday, maybe. I would probably say he's going to get introduced in the Tuesday, Wednesday range. Probably. Somewhere around there. But like I said, when he gets introduced, I might do a pod on kind of some of the takeaways from the stuff he said and stuff about, some of the things he says, what's his plan, because I'm sure they're going to ask him his plan on, what he wants to do with his team. I'm sure the question's going to come up on what he's going to do with Darnold. But I probably will do a pod on that, kind of just overviewing what I thought on his first interview. Yeah. But like I said, just love the decision, and the players have already, Becton and Quinn Williams have already said that they're ready to go. I mean, they're already ready. I'm excited. I just can't wait to see, what he does in the offseason and draft and what this team looks like. This team, we do the things right coming up in this offseason. And like I said, that was the thing I was nervous about going into the offseason, getting the coaching right. We got the coach right. So now that's a big check. Okay, we checked off the coach. Now all we got is free agency and trades and stuff and draft. Checked off the biggest box of all, and that was coach. And I'm going to give it a check plus because I love this hiring. Robert Saleh, new Jets head coach. Really like it. Coming up next, DJ Mayhew re-signs with the Yankees. Monster deal. Yankees finally get up from out of their seats. Cashman finally gets up from his rocking chair and finally makes a move. Big move for the New York Yankees coming up next. Alrighty, so let's go right here. Let's see. Where? Here we go. Alright. So, Yankees rumors. Okay, so DJ Mayhew. Alright, so here we go. So, let's see. He's already obviously signed the big deal, but this deal here, Yankees rumors. DJ Mayhew finalizing 6-year, $90 million contract to return to New York. So he's already signed it. This is just they say finalizing, but he's already signed it. So DJ Mayhew signs a 6-year, $90 million contract with the New York Yankees to return to New York and play for the New York Yankees. I said this earlier on the podcast. I'm so excited the fact that all these things are happening in sports. And I'm even more excited at the fact that all these things that are happening in sports are positively impacting my teams. Okay? And you got to realize how this deal is so big. I said this for months now. How much we need to bring back DJ Mayhew. I said he's the setup guy in the order. He's going to hit singles and doubles. He's one of the best pure hitters in the league. If not, he's the best hitter in the league. He's a good infielder, right? We needed a guy like DJ Mayhew. He's also considered a veteran. We needed a guy like him in the locker room. He can set up Aaron Judge for the long ball. He's going to score runs. He's going to get RBIs. He's going to make plays on defense. Oh, yeah, and more than likely, he's going to hit against the shift. So to all those people out there who, this is me too. I hate the shift. I can't stand it. That's why I'm really glad too we brought him back, because he can hit against shift. I can't stand the shift. I think the shift, comment down below if you agree, I think the shift is the worst thing in baseball right now. That and putting a player on second base in extra innings. But that's besides the point. I want to get to LeMahieu. This is a great decision for the New York Yankees. And I said this all along. How good he is, he deserves every penny of this deal. And you want to know why? Because I know a lot of people, I know the Yankees were caught up on the money aspect, but give the guy the money. He deserves every penny of that $90 million. And I heard reports a couple days ago about the Yankees and him agreeing on the years part of the deal. They both wanted, I heard today too, the Blue Jays asked 4 years, $75 million. He didn't want that. He instead wanted like a 6-year deal. The Yankees, he wanted more of a long deal. So the Yankees, obviously, I'm sure the longer deal gives you more like guaranteed money and stuff. It's all business. But yeah, so the Yankees obviously, with the 6-year deal, they were good on the deal part of it. With the 6 years, they were good. They agreed on the year part of the deal. The one part of the deal they weren't agreeing on, which is the big main part, was the money aspect. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad this deal got done. I don't think it should have took until January 15th for this deal to get done. This deal should have been done right after the season ended when we knew he was a free agent. We should have made him a Yankee for 6 more years way before January 15th. But I'm just happy this deal's done now, and I'm happy I could go ahead and say, instead of saying, looking at these Yankees lineup and seeing instead of seeing no LeMahieu there, I could finally see LeMahieu. Because when you start to brainstorm like without LeMahieu, you start to think like who would be in our lineup. Now I could finally put LeMahieu back in there, and he's going to be back in there for 6 more years, and that's very exciting. Like I said, and this is a guy too. A lot of people always talks about his hitting. His fielding is too underrated as well. I think his fielding is very underrated. I think, I'm not saying his hitting's underrated. His hitting, I think, is perfectly fine. I think everyone realizes that he's such a good hitter, and I agree with those people. But his fielding, I think, too, is underrated. Everyone always talks about the hitting aspect of the game, talks about his hitting, his stuff like that, and I agree. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's a very good hitter. That's the best part of his game. But his fielding as well. If you saw him, he can make plays in the field. His fielding's not as good as his hitting, but that's also because of the fact that his hitting is so good. It's tough to be on that level on both sides on offensively and defensively. It's tough to be that good. But his fielding's very good as well, and I feel like his fielding's very underrated. I know a lot of people are talking about his bat, but I think too we're getting a solid fielder as well back, and I think that's another big key. Fielding's huge. You don't have solid fielders, you could forget about making the playoffs. You could forget about having a successful season. Defense wins championships, people. And I love this move for the New York Yankees, obviously for those reasons. And just to see him back in pinstripes is also very exciting too. I did not want to see him. Now, it would have been interesting what would have happened if he would have went to Los Angeles, and because they had a pick between him or either, I think, Turner or whatever. They would have had a pick between him or Turner. But it would have been interesting. If he went there, then what would happen with Turner? That would have been interesting. But I'm glad he's staying in New York. And I know a lot of people have said all along that, he wanted to stay as a New York Yankee, and I could see that by far. Obviously, he's coming back. I could see that why he wanted to stay as a New York Yankee. But, that there's always that part of you that says, okay, he wants to stay as a New York Yankee, but there's always that part of you that's like, at the same time, I don't know, like at the same time, there's that part of you that, he wants to stay as the New York Yankee, but there's also the part of you that, it's also that part of you that it's like, okay, is he just going to take what he wants, or is he going to go with the money aspect and, go somewhere else? And that's another thing too. I think this does show that LeMahieu is not all about the money. It's because he said all along he wanted to stay with the Yankees. Yankees gave him the money, obviously. But he could have very well picked up one of those deals right before, the Yankees even did. And that's why I was nervous, is when he said he wants more money, if another team came in there and swooped it up, and then the Yankees said they're going to be patient with LeMahieu, I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You have one of the best hitters in the MLB, and you're not even going to do anything about it? Sure enough, the Yankees obviously ended up getting him back. But yeah, like I said, I'm happy we got him back, but this should not have took until January 15th to get this deal done. That's all I'm going to say. This deal should have happened the day after the season ended. That's all I'm going to say. And I think Luke Voigt and the other players' comments have as well made some big impacts. Voigt said, too, we need him. He said that yesterday. He said we need him. Judge also today tweeted something out about him being back and stuff. So obviously great news for the New York Yankees. But yeah, so DJ LeMahieu, Yankees signed 6-year, $90 million contract extension to return to New York. DJ LeMahieu is reportedly finalizing a contract to return to the New York Yankees. The contract's already been finalized, so he's already signed back. But the Yanks and the free agent infielder are working to complete the deal as early as Friday, per John Morris. The deal is already completed. ESPN Draft Pass and reports the deal is a 6 years and is worth $90 million. The 32-year-old was excellent for the Yankees in 2020, hitting a career-high 364 with 10 home runs, 27 RBIs, 41 runs, and a career-best 1.011 OPS. He also offered the team a lot of versatility, playing at second base, first base, and third place, and one game as a designated hitter. He played every position in the infield plus DH except shortstop. He played every position in the infield except shortstop, and he played DH. He played third, second, first, and DH. He can give you it all, and hit well. Just goes to show you how good of a player he is. He can do it all. For a Yankees team that has dealt with more than its fair share of injuries the past 2 years, LeMahieu has been this lifesaver. He was also excellent in 2019 with career best in homers 26 and RBI 102. So a lot of people might look at his last career stat last year and say, oh, well, 60-game season and stuff like that. Well, look at his season before that. He's been dominant since he came to the Yankees. Something about him in pinstripes, he's just dominant. The question for New York was whether the veteran might have priced himself out of the Yankees' range, given the money they owe elsewhere and the presence of other players at first, Luke Voit and third base Gio Urshela, all worthy of starting. Granted, losing LeMahieu at second base would have hurt big time. It's a moot point now, though. LeMahieu will return to New York, likely armed with a deal worthy of his production the past 2 years. He's found a home with these Yankees. Obviously, with the Yankees, so obviously that's good. But obviously that's really exciting news there. He's, like they said, that final sentence says everything. He has found a home with the New York Yankees. He's signing here. He's going to be staying here, and exciting news for the New York Yankees. Obviously with everything, with all this stuff, he was saying, with all this stuff going around the Yankees and stuff about not re-signing him. It's good to know that we have him back, and it's good to know that he is back as a New York Yankee. So let's just get up his stats here. I want to just read some of his stats. I know they read some of it. DJ LeMahieu tweeted this out. Let's roll. Excited to have you back in pinstripes, DJ LeMahieu. And then he sent the picture of them. So that just goes to show you, too, how much players like him. His teammates, Voit said we need him back. Judge was congratulating him today. Happy he's back. So these are the things, man. Excited to see. I'm very, very, very excited to see that he's back in pinstripes and should be good. I'm excited to see what all happens here with this Yankees team. Obviously this is the first move. Hopefully we make some more moves. I want a pitcher. That's what I really want. That's what I really want. So yeah, but let's see here. Let's see. So we go to DJ LeMahieu stats. Here we go. Alrighty, so DJ LeMahieu's stats. His 2020 stats, he had 195 at-bats, 364 average, 10 home runs, 27 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, and OPS of 1.011. His MLB career stats have 4,242 at-bats, 305 average, 85 home runs, 478 RBIs, 83 stolen bases, and OPS of 787. So he's a career 305 hitter. That is insane. To be a career 305 hitter, his career's not even done yet. So that thing could go even more. I would imagine it's probably going to go up because I think he's going to have another excellent season. That right there is worth $90 million. 305 average for his career. That's just amazing. That is really insane. He is one of the best pure hitters in the MLB. Great signing for the New York Yankees. Really, really, really good signing there. But yeah, that's what I got for DJ LeMahieu signing. Obviously, should be pretty good. I think it's going to be a good season for the New York Yankees. Hopefully, I'm hoping we get a pitcher now. A couple other pitchers. We got LeMahieu. Now let's get a couple other pitchers here. We re-signed LeMahieu, so. Let's get a couple other pitchers here. But yeah, so let's get into some of the other stuff. College basketball. Let's see here. I don't know why it keeps on doing that. So yesterday, Gonzaga won, and that was it. And today we got Rutgers, Wisconsin. I give Rutgers the win. Or I give Wisconsin the win there. As for the NBA, actually, I give Rutgers a win, yeah. As for the NBA, yesterday we got Nuggets won, Pacers won, Rockets won, Raptors won, and 76ers won. Today we got the Knicks Cavs. We'll talk about that. Celtics Magic if Celtics to win. Bucks Mavericks if Bucks to win. Bulls Thunder give Bulls to win. Grizzlies Timberwolves give Timberwolves to win. Jazz Hawks give Jazz to win. Clippers Kings give Clippers to win. And Lakers Pelicans give Lakers to win. And Celtics Magic, yeah, they get Celtics get Kemba Walker back. I give the Celtics to win. Like I said, that's one key there. And then Knicks, Cavaliers. Knicks go into that game, come into this game 5-7. Cavaliers come in 5-7. Knicks are 2-point favorites. The over/under is 197. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's on FS Ohio, and also I'm sure you can get on MSG as well. But I give the Cavs to win, honestly there. And then the Nets did not play yesterday either. NHL. Yesterday, the Wild won, Golden Knights won, Sharks won, Oilers won, Predators won, Jets won, Hurricanes won, Bruins won, Capitals won. And as for the Rangers, yesterday they lost 4-0. They got dominated from the start. Removed that first period, and they played a pretty good. They didn't play that bad. They obviously went down 3-0 early, could not bounce back, let it up 1 goal the rest of the game. So after the first period, they didn't play that bad. It was just the first period really hurt them. Remove that first period, they only lose 1-0. But I thought it was one of those games where it was a young performance. I mean, there was definitely a couple times where the players definitely did not make the right decisions. There's definitely a couple moments in that game where it was not the best decision making. But it's also a young team that's still learning, still growing. So, as much as I want to win every game, this loss doesn't make me too angry because first off, we play again against the Islanders tomorrow, and hopefully we get the win there. But also, it's a young team. I realize I said this. It's going to take some time. They got to learn and stuff. So, but yeah. Islanders won, obviously. Today we got the Lightning, Blackhawks give Lightning the win. Sabres, Capitals give Capitals the win. Senators, Maple Leafs give Maple Leafs the win. Flyers, Penguins give Penguins the win. And then Blues, Avalanche give Avalanche the win. Avalanche, Blues give Avalanche the win. And now I move on to fantasy. So, I made a move today in fantasy basketball. Pretty actually significant move. Not a trade, just an acquisition. But this is my lineup. Currently, I am losing 771 to 757. 757. I am losing. So 771 to 757. I am losing right now. But today I got Trae Young, Anthony Davis, Kemba Walker, and Jonas Valanciunas playing. And I dropped. Today I did in fact drop Jusuf Nurkic. Not because of his play. I wanted to pick up Kemba Walker all along. He should be coming. Hopefully, he comes back tonight. But he should be coming back soon. I wanted to play him all along. And also, Jusuf Nurkic broke his wrist last night. So I would imagine he's probably going to be out for a good amount of time. So I'm just going to assume that I need to have healthy players in my lineup. So I picked up Kemba Walker. But these are some of the things. Jimmy Butler out. COVID-19 protocol still. Kemba Walker is still listed as out, but Walker's knee is yet to be cleared to return to game action. Chris Forsberg of NBC Sports Boston reports. I've had this game. I said this early on in the week. He was supposed to return today, which is the Friday game. I said this. I was going to pick him up today, and obviously with Jusuf Nurkic breaking his wrist, which isn't good, it actually gave me an easy decision to make there with Kemba Walker, though. Oladipo still day-to-day. He was obviously in the trade. Stuff like that. And then Kyrie Irving, we got some news on him today. Irving personal is expected to rejoin the Nets and play in Saturday's game against the Magic if he continues to test negative for COVID-19 and clears the NBA's health and safety protocols. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN.com reports. Or of ESPN reports, yeah. So that's good news for the Nets and my fantasy team there. And as for the fantasy hockey, right now I am winning 43-42. Today's games, I got Jack Eichel, Steven Stamkos, Braden Point, Evgeny Malkin, Nicholas Backstrom, Braden Sheen, Chris Letang, and Duncan Keith. And my goalies tonight is Frederick Anderson. So I've gotten some good production out of some of my players, and I'm winning right now. So that's always good. So hopefully that goes well, and pick up a win there. But yeah, with all that being said, that will do it for the podcast today. A very long podcast, I know. Obviously, had a lot of good sports to talk about. So it was really good there. But yeah, with all that being said, that will do it for the podcast today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. As you all know, I take breaks on the weekend, so I'll see you all back here on Monday. But yeah, enjoy another packed football weekend. Another good sports weekend ahead of us. Should be good. A lot of good games. Oh, and Kentucky. That's another thing. I completely forgot there. Kentucky as well. They play tomorrow. And the Rangers also. So, Rangers tomorrow, I guess I'll just give them the win. And Nets tomorrow, I actually do give them the win there. And then the Knicks don't play. Or they play on Sunday. I'll give the Celtics the win there. But yeah, and then for Kentucky as well. Obviously, Kentucky, they play Auburn tomorrow. I just give them the win, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, sure. But yeah, we got to find a way to play better there. If you're Kentucky, obviously. You got to be better shooting wise. But yeah, so that's what I got there. But yeah. So that's pretty much it though. That's pretty much it. Alrighty, so that's it now. So with all that being said, that will do it for the podcast. That is it now. Let me just put that there. Boom. Okay, so that will do it for the podcast today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I will see you all back here, obviously, on Monday. As you all know, I do breaks on the weekends. I take breaks on the weekends, so I do not do pods. But yeah, so with all that being said, that will do it for the podcast today. I will see you all back here on Monday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.